Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network. Hi, John.
Hi, guys. Greetings from the New York Bureau.
Hello.
Right? Isn't that what Jesus said? Is do not, in any circumstances, welcome the stranger.
Yeah, Jesus was all about building walls and
Right.
not bridges. He was all about exclude the stranger. He was all pretty much a crap on the marginalized. If you don't have time to read the whole New Testament, it's just find the people who are the poorest and be cruel to them, and that'll get you votes from Christians. That's pretty much what the whole book says.
It's hard to keep doing it, but we hit a new low with Greg Abbott calling the victims of this massacre illegals rather than
Yeah.
humans.
Sometimes the dog whistle takes the form of a train whistle, and Greg Abbott is there. You know, he could have said this person killed this person killed 5 men, women, and children. He could have said killed 5 people, could have said 5 human souls, but no, you have to dehumanize them. And that's exactly what we were seeing here in New York with Jordan Neely being killed on the subway.
Yeah.
You have to dehumanize the poor people and put them on trial. So even though the only crime that was committed on the F train was this white 24-year-old murdering a homeless black man who had broken no laws.
Yeah.
We're talking all about how, you know, that sometimes there's consequences for your behavior. Sorry, Jordan Neely, it's a tragedy. You're gone. And it's no different in Texas. And those 5 people weren't even all undocumented. One of them was, at least one was a permanent resident. So Greg Abbott just lies about it because he knows he's going for the kind of Christians that'll reward him for bearing false witness.
Yeah. John, we were talking. I mean, there's obviously so much. It's like blinding corruption that we don't even know. Latest Clarence Thomas story, different billionaire, different, different story of corruption, and yet, I mean, Glenn Kirschner just told us the DOJ has because don't we always get to this, Jody? We're like, is that illegal? Because it's at what point is it just corrupt? Should they resign? X, Y, Z, or you go? Isn't that illegal? And it really is kind of extraordinary. The amount of
kind
corruption.
Makes me long for the simple values of a Brett Kavanaugh, doesn't it? Boy, what a guy. We didn't know how good we had it with Brett. Yeah, I mean, Clarence Thomas has gone from who's your daddy to who's your granduncle, and it's bribery. He's owned. John Roberts, we now know why he wouldn't testify last week because his wife raked in $10 million from law firms that pushed cases in front of her husband, and there's no oversight. There's nothing we can do about it. Congress controls the purse strings, but you'd have to get Republicans to join on board to have any kind of actual list of ethics they have to live by. So this is it, man. This is why Joe Biden has to add more judges.
Yeah.
FDR, just by threatening to do it, FDR made the Supreme Court back down. And Joe Biden needs to at least start putting the fear into them. That what FDR tried to do, because they were undermining the New Deal, these 3 justices. So he said, okay, I'm going to add a bunch of justices, and every justice over 70 now gets 1 collective vote. That's what he threatened to do, and they backed down, the right-wingers on the court.
Yeah.
I'm ready for some of that right now.
Yeah, I agree. This one, by the way, I don't think I've ever heard of wire fraud as many times as I have in the last. Herschel Walker might have made some serious campaign finance mistakes during his campaign for Georgia Senate. He asked a high-profile donor to send a political contribution directly to his personal company. He asked representatives for whoever, this rich business, to wire $535,200 directly to his, which of course he never disclosed to the FEC. This is
what? My Herschel Walker?
Yes, yours. Legal experts called it unprecedented, stunning, jaw-dropping. There's no legal way this could have played out. I mean, I don't know if it's just Trump. It feels like the entire party is a bunch of corrupt grifters.
I don't think you people are realizing Herschel Walker's brilliance here. Has it occurred to any of you cynical leftists that maybe Herschel Walker is being this corrupt and this stupid to make a play to be Donald Trump's vice president? Maybe it's part of a strategy. I mean, how many illegitimate kids has he announced since this story came out?
So Russia attacked several Ukrainian cities with drones overnight, though Ukraine said it had managed to shoot most of them down. Russia called the attack payback for what it claims was an alleged attempt by Ukraine to attack the Kremlin in Moscow using drones on Wednesday. They claim it was an attempt by Ukraine to assassinate Putin, which, of course, Ukraine has denied, but you made the best point. You said everyone knows you're not supposed to drone the Kremlin to assassinate Putin while Mercury's in retrograde. So, I think that's...
I mean, that's the first thing they teach you in drone assassin school.
Right.
Don't do it when Mercury's in retrograde, people. Yeah. I mean, our own State Department was saying that it was a false flag, that Russia did it to themselves. And if you watch the video, it is kind of goofy. It's just a little tiny drone that hits the roof, and there's two guys climbing a ladder on the side of the roof at the same time it happens. I don't think the Kremlin's into telegraphing how weak Putin is. I don't think this was Russia doing it to themselves. They don't need an excuse to go bomb Ukraine. They'll do it whenever they want. If this was designed to get sympathy for Putin, I'm glad it's blown up. But watch for this story to disappear really quick. I can't believe they even announced it because it makes Putin look weak just to say, "Oh, you could tap the roof of the Kremlin."
Yeah. Also, thank you for pointing out, you said Kevin McCarthy just apologized to the Sith for the Jedi's excessive regulations.
Yes, well, it's May the 4th. As you know, we missed it yesterday.
Right,
Today's Revenge of the 5th. I know there's nothing you'd like more stuff than I know there's nothing you like more than to talk about Star Wars for hours. Yeah. But I will give you one little quick clip, quick hint. If you say May the 4th be with you,
yes, and also with you.
Really, don't be Catholic. Just say May the 4th be with you. Practice that. If you say it 10 times with a New York accent, you'll have your Rudy Giuliani impression down. Trust me. Just May the 4th be with you 10 times, and you'll have Rudy. It's a little impression trick. I'm here to help.
By the way, you made another great point about Greg Abbott. You said, why doesn't Greg Abbott want to do anything to make it harder for illegals, quote unquote, to easily get their hands on AR-15s? I mean, that's the whole. They just you can tell they're just gleeful when they can blame something else besides the guns. But you're right, they don't want to stop anybody from getting a gun.
They don't want to do a damn thing. That's by the way the question the media or the Democrats don't pick up on enough. Mm-hmm. How did this man get an AR-15? What was the path that led an AR-15 from being somehow a legal gun to being an illegal gun in this man's hands? The Republicans are terrified of talking about it. Every time there's a mass shooting, the first thing we should be told afterwards is, how did the shooter get the gun? Mm-hmm. And this guy got the gun because the right wing doesn't care if criminals and gang members or undocumented immigrants get their hands on machines designed to kill people really fast. And again, they tried to make this about illegal immigration because they have to change it every time, right? After the Vegas, they had to make it about bump stocks. Right. After Dylan Roof, let's make it about the Confederate flag. After Nashville, it's transgender person. So this is going to be all about an undocumented immigrant. But, the Republican Party doesn't want to do anything to keep undocumented immigrants out.
People on the terrorist watch list. They don't. I mean, honestly, they don't want any regulations.
Just start arresting all the white people who do the hiring. There's a giant wanted sign at our border. There's no wall you could build big enough to hide it. They're coming over because we're offering the jobs. If any of these politicians were serious about stopping the illegals, they would just start locking up the people doing the hiring, and it would go away. They won't do it because our economy would collapse, and because being racist to marginalized people helps get Republicans' votes.
Yep. Let's talk about the big story, the Proud Boys being convicted, seditious conspiracy. Ruthlessly absurd.
Eddie Terrio has fallen so far from dance fever to this. I'll tell you.
But, we just obviously, we're talking to Glenn Kirschner, and I think he's not the only one that is really optimistic that justice is coming all the way to the top. That the significant thing legally is that Enrico Terrio was not there. And so I think what did Barb McQuaid say? We're getting to the top rung of the ladder finally. So, I mean, it was a good week for justice.
Is the top rung Roger Stone? Because, I'm not going to be impressed until
Mango
Roger
Mussolini.
Stone names to say. Just imagine Roger Stone, like in the end of Scarface, desperately naming names to save himself. Yeah. It's like porn for the angels stuff. Imagine it. I mean, and imagine Roger Stone's tattoo. Closest we'll ever see to Nixon being behind bars. But I'm thrilled about it. I'm thrilled it was seditious conspiracy. Turns out Merrick Garland is 3 for 3 now, and he seems to know what he's doing.
Yeah. It's also the week we found out that Tucker Carlson is a bastard, as it turns out. Perhaps even racist, John.
I'm so shocked that Tucker's a racist who hates women. I mean, I didn't know what to do. That's not how white men smear. I'll tell you. And by the way, he's owned. Tucker, his deal he's not allowed to even talk about politics. He's not allowed to go work for another competitor.
Wow.
For 2 years. Uncle Rupert is going to keep on releasing more and more of this to make Tucker look worse and worse. And Tucker's not allowed to fight back, and he's not allowed to go get paid for talking about politics for at least 2 years.
Wow.
So Tucker Carlson, I was going to say he was going to Bill O'Reilly Island. Tucker's going to Dennis Hastert Island.
Yeah.
We're not going to hear from him for a while.
Well, that's why I wondered what you make of this story that, they're saying he's talking to Trump about moderating a forum for the 2024 Republican presidential candidates. It says his contract is supposed to run till the end of 2024, so his options for establishing a new media presence could be limited. If he wants to collect the millions the network is still legally obligated to pay him. However, sources told the Post that that Carlson might be willing to forfeit the millions if it means he'll be able to publicly reestablish himself faster. Carlson has spoken with Trump about moderating, because Trump has already said I love that Brett Baer now is apparently too liberal. He won't do any debates because a Fox host is going to be one of the moderators.
Oh, yeah. Let's again, guys, stop and smell the train wreck. They're going to be tearing each other to ribbons for the next year. We have to remember to enjoy it. I know they make you crazy, but they're finally turning on each other. This Trump-DeSantis thing is beautiful. It's like King Kong versus Godzilla, but with more likable characters. Honestly, I think it's wonderful. Tucker can do this all he wants because he has all of his Gloria Swanson frozen fish stick money.
Yeah.
He's a little millionaire at birth heiress. So, whatever he does, it's great. It'll just be fun watching Trump have to be with someone who hates him, pretending everything's fine, and it's not Melania. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
John Fugelsang, a delight, ladies and gentlemen. SexyLiberal.com. Those tickets are flying out the door.
Hey all, Glenn Kirschner here. Friends, I hope you'll join me on my audio podcast, Justice Matters. We talk about not only the legal issues of the day, but we also talk about the need to reform ethics in our government. Here's one example, the oath of office. You know the one. I do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Let's add 22 words to that oath. Quote, and I will promptly report any instances of crime and or corruption by government officials and employees of which I become aware. Friends, our democracy is worth fighting for. Join us in this fight, because justice matters. Look for Justice Matters wherever you ordinarily find your podcasts.